Where is he?
It's lunchtime. He's at White Castle.
White Castle.
It's a fast food restaurant. They serve those little square burgers.
I know what it is.
The history of serial television goes back to stories told over the radio, as these would be stories told through a medium that allowed for an evolving plot with a set cast of characters, programs like The Lone Ranger. Then, with the rise of television, came the transitions for serials moving away from the radio and onto the screen. The very start of these visual serials would be soap operas. And over the years, it would transition again to shows along the lines of 24 and Lost. These would be the shows that would lay the groundwork for Fox's Prison Break series in 2005. Hello and welcome to Better Late Than Never, a show where we talk about whether or not it's too late to get into older television shows and if it's worth the potential hassle to do so. As always, I want to hit you with a bit of a spoiler warning, as I will be talking about the events that occurred in Fox's show Prison Break, primarily the plot of Season 1, with some mention of the later seasons. So, spoiler warning. Now let's dive in. Prison Break was a serialized television show that aired on Fox for 5 seasons from 2005 to 2017. Now, the show wasn't physically on air for 12 years. It actually ran consecutively for 4 seasons spanning 2005 to 2009, and then saw a revival in 2017 for the 5th season. The show was created by Paul Scheuring, who also served as one of the producers and writers of the show, and featured a pretty large ensemble cast of characters, led by Lincoln Burrows and Michael Schofield, portrayed by Dominic Purcell and Wentworth Miller, respectively.
Why?
Let's go, man. Come on, come in.
I'm getting you out of here.
Come on. Burrows, roll it up. Happy hour's over.
It's impossible.
Not if you design the place, it isn't.
With serial programming, one of the strongest aspects to reliably pull the audience back into watching the show is the leading cast. If your characters weren't memorable enough to keep the audience coming back, it could lead to potential issues with the show's longevity. That's why it was so important for Michael and Lincoln to be so strong characters. Every moment that you find out more pieces of the puzzle to Michael's grand scheme, every bit of information that you find out about the person Lincoln really is, it all helps to tie the rest of the show up in a nice little package. That's what keeps pulling you back in. That's why the show succeeds extremely well as a serial. See, there's an overarching plot for the show, and it is in essence a pretty basic one. I mean, the show is called Prison Break. The end goal isn't to get the girl or become the best baker in New York. The end goal is to break out of prison. But what keeps pulling you in is to see the wrench that gets thrown into Michael's plan every week. The interactions between other inmates and the two brothers. All of the subplot with the captain of the guard, Brad Bellick. It's all so engrossing and works so well for that season. Now, you might be wondering as to why I said season. Singular, not plural. See, Prison Break is a fantastic show, however, it's not without its faults. And those faults come when the initial plot runs out. To give it to you quick and straight, Season 1 is among the upper echelon of television shows and is worth your time to watch any day of the week. Season 2 is a good continuation and probably the best one that one could hope for, as it deals with them on the run. 3, 4, and 5, and the movies that no one talks about are very below average television. Almost to the point that you might think you're watching a whole different show altogether. So you might be asking, what happened? What caused a show that's as good as Season 1 was to drop in quality so drastically? Well, to me, the cause of that would be in relation to the plot. Shows that have the plot of the program in the title of the show scare me, because while they tend to have an excellent first season where the plot is tight and smooth and plays out without dramatic quality drops, the later seasons tend to not be up to par. It's that old adage of the sequel rarely being as good as the original. The creators didn't know what to do when they were told to continue the story they had planned to wrap up, so instead of getting the time they needed to create something that was good and make sense, they had to rush. It's hard to tell your executives to stop when they're offering you a lot more money to keep going. And Prison Break isn't the only show like this. Series like 13 Reasons Why, How to Get Away with Murder, and many others suffer from the issue. You can only do the same thing for so long before the quality drops, and when you switch to something different, the identity fades away. But back to the question that we're answering on the show today. Is it better to watch Prison Break late than it is to not watch it at all? And the answer is sort of. I highly recommend the first 2 seasons of the show, with extra emphasis on the first season. The cast is perfect, the story is clever, and it's shot beautifully. And the second season acts as a satisfying follow-up to the first. Where the sort of part comes in is that I don't think it's worth your time to watch anything past season 2, honestly. If you're interested in watching Prison Break, you can find it on Netflix, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to let me know by giving it a like and subscribing. And for those who have seen the show already, what did you think? Did you like the later seasons more than I did? Let me know in the comment section down below, and other than that, have a great rest of your day.